Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Game Hub. I'm your host GamerK, and it is finally August, and honestly, I'm really happy for the videos this week, for this month. One reason, next week will be my mother's 60th birthday, so I'm doing a video that is something directly tied to her, and in all honesty, I might show her this. I'm just gonna say this. Happy birthday, Mother. There's going to be one big happy birthday pop up on the screen there. And I will be doing another one for the video on her birthday, which I will probably pre-do on the weekend so I can, get it out on her birthday. But enough of all that. This week, we're going into another game review. And honestly, it is one that is a good number of years old. But it's one of my personal favorite games. And it's by a company I don't do that much games of Rockstar. So yeah, other than Grand Theft Auto 5 and the increasingly long-awaited Grand Theft Auto 6. Okay, seriously, Rockstar, what's going on? And anyway, I'm not going to complain. The detective game Noire, which came out in 2011. So basically, around my third year of high school, this was my very first mature game. And all honesty, it swung for the fences doing something new, and I believe it hit a grand slam. And anyone who is a big detective game fan or just a fan of really fun games in general, do pick up this game, either for a PS3 or the PS4. I'm not talking about Xbox, people, because I don't do Xbox. Anyway, this is the cover for the for the 2011 release, and honestly, I like this. So here's the one for the 2018 remaster edition, if you can kind of ignore the glare and see that image. I prefer this one because this one is kind of, sorry, technical difficulties. This one's a little plain with the main character and Elsa. Not that Elsa. There is a GIF or a picture right there of Elsa from Frozen, isn't there? I'm going to let that one go. And some random body in this white backdrop. This one with the black dark areas, with the blue face of the woman, the red of the crime scene behind him, Cole Phelps right there in the middle, with the golden letters LA Noire right there. That right there is a much better cover, because it does fit the neat and gritty LA the feel of Hollywood in the day on the cover. So the game takes place in the golden age, or what I've looked up to be the golden age of crime in Los Angeles, which was during 1947, which upon a little bit of investigation, because I love doing investigating when I do game reviews, the golden age, 1947's Los Angeles was one of the highest reported crime rates in Los Angeles history during the 1947. And this game does an exceptional job of transporting you into that time frame, with the clothes, with the cars, with the environments, with the cast, and it just, even the music and on the radio, it goes from really old swing music to something less crazy like music nowadays. It kind of has some sitcom from a radio show on, and it just makes you feel like you are literally in the time. And I'm tired of games constantly doing nowadays or like the far future. Let's go back into the old days so we can appreciate the beauty of it more. And honestly, that's why I love period piece games and movies and TV shows, because it gives us a feel of the back in the old days, and it just fits. So basically, the story has patrolman Cole Phelps, fresh from the war, going through the ranks of the LAPD, from patrol, which is your tutorial level, which teaches you all the basics in each individual chapter of it, from basic stuff like investigating a crime scene, following up leads, brawling, chasing suspects, some of them about the gun mechanics, and it's not too difficult. but it's done very well. And then they collaborate it all into the interrogation with your first murder, interrogating suspects. And the neat thing about LA Noire is it has this really neat mechanic during interrogations of suspects. Once you collect evidence, and all honesty, I'm gonna be honest, this is a game where you will need to be technically sound and not just rush through everything. You do need, in certain crime scenes, as the game progresses, you will have to be thinking more on places to go. And luckily, there's a little help. There's investigation music in the background as you investigate a crime scene or an area where there are clues to discover. And it will go off once you've collected everything. So it is but you can turn stuff like this off on the options menu if you really want to test yourself. So I appreciate that they do that. So during interrogations, you will have your list of questions, and after each question, you will have to judge by, and okay, gonna say this, Team Bondi was a company that kind of went under, but they had a lot to do with this game. They used facial programming where they would capture the actor's face for every single character in this game. They don't reuse people's faces, which is something I really appreciate. It makes every character feel so unique, and the little twitches and the lip movements, the eye shifting, moving your hair and everything. Okay, to be fair, there's not that many long-haired suspects. Everyone's kind of got like a haircut like me, so it doesn't do stuff like that. But it's facial features that you have to read to see if a suspect's being honest, is being truthful with you, or you doubt their statement, but you don't have evidence to prove that they're lying, so you just doubt them. Or if you do know that they're lying about something, you will have to hit lie and indicate what in your evidence catalog of what proves the lie. And honestly, I enjoy it. I just hate that the new version remastered it and called it Good Cop, Bad Cop, and Accused. What was wrong with Truth, Doubt, or Lie? That just sounds like a twisted game on an iPhone app. Truth, Doubt, or Lie. Yeah. But the game really does its job with its story. For a good majority of the game, we follow Cole Phelps' life throughout the LAPD climbing the ranks, with a couple side stories here and there, or a little bit of the main story, which all has to do with all of his former Marine friends who come back from Okinawa, and the Coolidge heist, which was the Coolidge ship, where a bunch of Army surplus morphine was stolen. And a lot of people suspect the people there who were on the ship, but it's not proven, and it's not until later we get into that basic story. Now, a good thing I love about this game is how it breaks down its chapters. They do it with four different desks to work on, aside from the patrol, because that's the tutorial. First, we get traffic case, which is all about automotive crimes, hit and runs, car thefts, and all that. And some of them lead into bigger cases. And some of them will also lead into more devious crimes. The homicide desk is one of the main ones that I love, where in each one you will have to deal with a murder, all connected to the most famous unsolved mystery in Los Angeles, the Black Dahlia. If you want to know about that, look it up. And honestly, the way they kind of correlate an actual unsolved mystery into these other murders, and it's just so well done. And all the murders are honestly kind of, they're not original, a majority, because it's all stemmed from the same one. But the way they go about having it branch into their own little section of a bigger story. The Vice is basically drugs, fight fixing. Basically, drugs is the big thing that the Vice handles. And it's at this point where you kind of realize the story kind of meshes into it, and then you go from that to falling to the arson desk for the last bit of the game, for the last game. And the arson cases, honestly, they're basically the big ending to the entire game, and story-wise, I just hate that 2 out of the cases you do continue as Phelps, but for 3 of them you play as his friend later in the game. And I mean, it works once you go through the story, but it kind of feels iffy. Not only that, but because the remastered version includes all of the DLC cases, which are 2 for traffic, none for homicide, 2 for vice, 1 for arson. The total of cases is 26. And all honesty, each case has something unique to offer. It doesn't feel like you're playing the exact same case over and over again, except for the homicide desks. But honestly, some of these murders are kind of similar in a way, so I kind of give it a buy. And the story of the entire game, it kind of it's great, but unfortunately, it's kind of a decline moment for me, because it doesn't feel like the story of the game catches up until you get halfway through the vice cases, which honestly is kind of what hinders the game a little bit. But the cases are enjoyable in and of itself, so it kind of corrects that. Let's see, what else? Okay, so I clocked in the time frame of the game to complete the whole story, which is including every single DLC case. You will be playing from 25 to almost 30 hours of gameplay, and that honestly, for a Rockstar game, is pretty good, especially since Grand Theft Auto 5 clocked in at about 80 hours from the sources that I've looked up. But this game, as a detective game, you will need to take your time, because every single case you will be given an evaluation, which is based on how much evidence you collect, correctly branching evidence in questions in interrogations. And also, this is one part that always messes people up: how much vehicle damage you do by money, how much injuries you cause to civilians, and how much property damage you do to the city. If you do enough, your ranking will go down, and honestly, it kind of makes you slow down and be more cautious as a detective, because in Grand Theft Auto 5, your destruction of property doesn't really hinder your mission, does it? And another thing I love about this game is how it kind of encapsulates what it's like to be a detective. Back in the old day, you didn't have computers, you didn't have smartphones. You have to go to a game well at every corner of the street and phone in if you want if you want to check evidence, if you want to check up locations, suspects, and all that good stuff. And you will also have to do some tailing, whether in your car or on foot. And it is kind of difficult in some levels, to do that and try to do it perfectly. Let's see, what else do we have? Going back a little bit to the story. The story is one that it's all about corruption, and the corruption, hidden motives between some characters. Although, another big thing I kind of didn't like is how the main focus of the vice cases kind of gets thrown out the window after it ends, and it's never brought up again until kind of late in arson, and it kind of stinks. It honestly does. In my opinion, the cases that are honestly the best are the traffic and the homicide. Vice is okay. Arson is the end game, so it's a little lacking for me. Let's see. So going into the actual game, the characters are what make this game likable for me. And it's what a game can be bad as long as it's got great characters. And this game has some really cool characters. Your partners, for example. Cole Phelps, honestly, as a character, I kind of like him. He's that young gun, fresh from the war, and battling his own personal demons and trying to make LA a better place from within the police system. And his partners for each desk are always good. In traffic, we got the young and constantly snarky Stefan Pikowski, and I love this kid. Every comment that comes out of his mouth feels like something I would say in a scenario. In Homicide, we get the I don't know how to explain Rusty Galloway, but all honesty, he's a great character. He's got a lot of good laughs too when at certain moments in the game, and he's a trusty character. None of these characters gain special abilities like in Grand Theft Auto 5, but it's just their personalities and honestly their own backstory. Okay, there's not much backstories for these characters, but basically just their personalities make them lovable too. In Vice, you get the jackass Roy Earl. And trust me, the minute you meet this guy, you're gonna hate him. And he does get some good chuckles into once in a while in the Vice cases. But overall, yeah, he's just one big jackass. And you realize that during the Vice cases, and it kind of makes you want to beat him down. Finally, being demoted to the arson case, we get Herschel Biggs, who is kind of this, he's kind of like Rusty, but older and more gritty and kind of sour. But you find out that he's a good character later on. Unfortunately, unlike the other characters, there's not enough time to get to know him. Whereas with the other three, we get 5 cases. Rusty gets 6 because of the homicide desk. But for Herschel, we only get to be with him for 3 cases. And like I said, the arson cases are honestly kind of shorter than the rest of the cases. Because the big story collides into every single case. Okay, except for the DLC one, which again, I'm not doing DLC videos for. You know what, maybe I will do the DLCs of this game because they were originally DLCs and then they were put into this. So maybe I will do a whole video of them one day. But basically, in terms of your partners, 2 of them are honestly the best, while one didn't get enough time to be noticed and to have time with him, to build a rapport with him, and the other one gets chuckles. He's like that one character in a sitcom who's a jackass to everyone, but everyone likes him just because he has a good line or two. Feels like I should be making a Big Bang Theory joke right about now. Nah, you guys know what I'm talking about. So, all in all, the gameplay in every single case is fantastic. And aside from that, there are collectibles in this game. You can find 20 police badges among the 40 Los Angeles landmarks, which will increase your meter for your rank, which will give you intuition points, which will allow you to remove a wrong answer during an interrogation. Look for clues in an area, or if you're online, you can ask the community what the correct answer is. I don't use that because I don't have online, but in the days of PS3 when online was free, it helped out a lot. So yeah, going through landmarks, answering questions correctly will increase your level, unlocking additional outfits, unlocking points, unlocking hidden vehicles, and it goes up to level 20. So playing the entire game of the remaster version, you'll build it up by the end of the Vice cases, so it doesn't really matter. There are also hidden cars to unlock for free roam, which allows you just to free roam and do whatever the heck you want. Let loose some steam if you feel like. Looking at the landmarks to unlock a trophy. Let's see. There's also film reels to find throughout the entire map of Los Angeles, and I really like that it's the entire map, and nothing is ever blocked off like in certain games where no, you must wait in order to go there. You can basically go everywhere you want in each desk, but each No, there is no but. It's fully open. Let's see, what else? The remastered version included light novels to collect. I've never found one, nor do I plan to, just to unlock a new... some of the outfits will give you special powers. For example, if you can tail every character in the Vice desk without being noticed, you will get the incognito, which will make it harder for them to see you. And it's just a whole black outfit, and it's kind of unflattering to look at. The button man will allow you to have extra ammo for all the weapons. Yeah, because when you're using a Tommy gun, you can just reach into your jacket and pull out a 100-round drum. The sharpshooter will increase your accuracy with certain weapons. The Huckshaw will allow you to take more damage. The Broderick will allow you to deal more damage when you're doing brawls with suspects. So the outfits are there for cosmetic and to enhance your ability, to enhance your gameplay a little bit. But honestly, I try to use some of them in every single case just to freshen it up a little bit. There's also record stuff. No, wait. Yeah, film reels, badges, novels, cars, the landmarks, which are honestly fun to find, and all the different types of cars you will find. Throughout the level, there will always be blue garage doors with Los Angeles on it, which showcases all of these really special cars or really old cars from the old days, and just collect them. Basically, they're collecting them for trophy reasons, no other reason. But I did like some of the trophies in each case. Some of them are special for... There's one special achievement for each desk, and some of them are pretty easy to get. Some of them, not so much if you play correctly. But one of them I really enjoy... the achievements are there. They're there. So, not much for the achievements. During the main game and free roam, there are also 40 street crimes that you can do, which will also increase your meter while you play the game, or if you just want to do them. And there are certain ones in each desk, and some of them are really enjoyable. Some of them, stopping a bank robbery at night, chasing after this peeping Tom, and a good majority of the street crimes include characters from previous cases. And honestly, it's a good way of implementing them into the side cases without it feeling like they're doing it just to do it. It feels really good just to see old faces, and it's done pretty good. Going into some of the story cases, just to give you a little, I'll be saying one each from each desk. Sorry if I'm rambling, I'm a little tired. The traffic case, one of them will have you chasing a car theft racket with legitimate paperwork. You'll have to deduce the lies and collect a good majority of good evidence and deal with an annoying-ass car salesman in order to discover the truth behind the auto ring. In the homicide desk, like I said, they're all connected to the mysterious death of the Black Dahlia. And all honesty, you will be hearing me talking about the final of these cases in another video sometime next year, because I got a list idea. In the Vice case, you will have two musicians have overdosed on army surplus morphine, which should not be on the street. And it all leads back to a mobster's connections, and you can see basically, I'm trying to be as vague as possible, but it's really difficult to do so. And the arson is just one giant conspiracy involving house fires, a development contractor, and yeah, basically that's it. I can't really be vague when it comes to these cases. It's really difficult. One thing I almost forgot is, in a good majority of the cases, you will find newspapers, which will give kind of a background story on what's been going on behind the scenes with certain characters. And one of these characters was actually on my list of my top 13 video game villains list, which was one of my first videos. So go check that one out. So for more information. And all honesty, yeah, that's pretty much it. So going forward, one thing I am really glad though, is that every single case does not have different endings. Only if you fail, and fail hard, will you get demoted. But if you do it absolutely perfect, people will be singing your praise. And in all honesty, I'm glad that it's not one of those games where what you do in each case will affect the overall story. I like that kind of linear, but you've got that kind of linear storyline in this game, and more often that you have to earn it. Because in some games it doesn't matter what you do, the ending is going to be the same. But in this, by doing great in the cases, it kind of makes you earn it a little bit. And honestly, I enjoy those types of games. So basically, from the cast, honestly, pretty well done. And not only that, I've just realized this. 2 of the cast members have been in TV shows like Criminal Minds, Station 19, CSI. Actually, now that I think about it, the jackass I mentioned here, Roy Earl, was in all 3 of those. For those of you crime show fans out there, keep on the lookout for him. So like I said, the cast is exponential. I hate saying that word because of the cases are really well done. The entire cast in the game is fantastic. The gameplay is pretty simple to do. The detective parts are always fun to do. And it's inventive. I just hate that Team Bondi went under after this game, because I think with the technology that they used for this game, they could have really done a great sequel, or maybe a game somewhat similar. Because I think it's games like this that have allowed so many detective type games to, and it's kind of a dying genre, to be honest, and I hate that, because detective genres I hate babbling. Detective games are personally my favorite, and it just gives people something other to do than shoot random targets or constantly running people over in cars. But it's games like this that always make me look for the next big detective game, where some have failed, others have definitely risen to the occasion, but LA Noire will always be a retro game that deserves your attention. And GamerK's final verdict for LA Noire is a masterful 9 out of 10. It's not a perfect game, because it does feel like they could have added maybe 1 extra case for each desk. I mean, I know that would have ranked the total to that would have brought the total to 30 cases. And honestly, I think that they should have done that. Because with the additional 5 DLC, without the additional 5 DLC cases, the total amount of cases was 21. But with them, it's 26. So adding another extra one, honestly, and maybe add a murder case on the homicide desk that wasn't connected to the Black Dahlia, because it just feels like everything you did just didn't amount to much, and it needed something fresh. But overall, this game deserves a spot in your game library, even if you're not a detective fan, even if you're not so good at sniffing out clues, even if you prefer Grand Theft Auto, this is a rockstar game regardless. And it's one that deserves the attention. And being a 10-year-old game and having a remaster done 7 years later, that's a pretty good accomplishment. So I urge anyone who watches this video to find the game on PlayStation Plus or anything and purchase it. It is a game that, like I said in the beginning, is criminal if you don't check it out. And that's it for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Like, comment, subscribe down below, and join me next week where I celebrate my mom's birthday by going into the realm of her favorite Disney movie and to determine who is the fairest in the game. This is GamerK, logging out.